Hey guys, welcome to part 6 of That If Deku Had All for One and Was Betrayed. Last time we left off with the events of the Two Heroes movie, and Deku's easy victory over Wolfram, stealing his quirks and the device. Now back in Japan, the UA students get on the coaches to go to the summer training camp, stopping at a cliff overlooking a forest. Getting out the coaches, 1 a.m. is introduced to the wild pussycats who will be helping to keep an eye out on them and train them throughout the camp. Suddenly the ground is split apart, sending all the members of 1 a.m. crashing to the ground below, minus Kyoko, who caught herself before the ground had even split, anticipating it. The teachers then explain that they have until midnight to arrive at the camp or they won't get any dinner. As soon as Kyoko was out of sight, she activated her teleportation quirk, warping to the camp in less than a second. After 8 hours, the rest of the class arrive, and are blessed by aroma of multiple different curry dishes, prepared by Kyoko while waiting, instantly regaining all their energy. While adding the finishing touches to the curry, Kyoko introduces herself to Kota, however the little boy wasn't so friendly, expressing his distaste in heroes and the whole quirk-based society by kicking her in the shin, but Kyoko simply tanked it, using shock absorption, then went back to the curry, noting Kota as a potential future ally. After leaving the curry to marinate in slow cook for an hour, while fetching their luggage putting it in their rooms, it is finally time to dig in, due to the marination. The starches in the vegetables soak up liquid, making it thicker and tastier, and the proteins in meat also continue to break down, making meat more tender. This mixed with the perfectly proportioned selection of spices, made for a curry worthy of a 3 Michelin stars award. After finishing dinner, Class 1 go to the hot springs for a bath, one side for males and another side for females, which is divided by a wooden wall. On the boys' side of the bath, Minoru notes that the bath schedules for the males and females have overlapped, and as a result, the females of Class 1 are also at the hot springs. Most of the male members of 1 demands Minoru to restrain himself. However, Minoru is unable to contain his desires and begins scaling the wall to look on the other side. As he reaches the top, Kota appears and pushes Minoru down, reprimanding Minoru for his perverted behavior. Minoru curses Kota as he begins falling back down. The females of Class 1 thank Kota for stopping Minoru, but Kota accidentally looks at the Class 1 females and falls into the males' hot springs from shock. Seeing this, Kyoko catches Kota using her telekinesis, putting him to rest with the pussycats. Remembering this incident, Kyoko makes a note to deal with Minta and publicly expose him in the future, to further damage UA and the hero's reputation. The next day, at 5:30 a.m. until 4 p.m., the UA students train their quirks past their limits. After training, Kyoko teaches the class the basics of cooking, meaning they create a decent curry this time. On the third evening of the training camp, Class 1 and Class 1B are prepared for a test of courage. However, Shota drags Mina, Rakido, Ijiro, Hunter, and Denki away because they must have review lessons with him. Afterwards, Pixabob and Ragdoll explain the test of courage. The game will take place in the forest with both classes having an opportunity to be the scarers and scares. Class 1B will the scarers and Class 1 are the scares. Class 1B must scare as many students as possible to win, while Class 1 must find cards with their names on it to prove that they went into the forest. Classes will exchange turns after 15 minutes and the game will begin again with Class 1 being the scarers and Class 1B being the scares. The class that scared more students than the other class will be the winner. Meanwhile, Deku and the League of Villains Vanguard Action Squad and Reformation Squad warp onto a cliff a few kilometers away from the camp. Deku then asks if everyone is here, mentally checking if everyone needed is present. For some of the members of the Vanguard Action Squad, it was the first time actually meeting Deku, so they were shocked by his appearance, as the news portrayed him as an ugly monster when in reality he well-groomed and youthful. Noticing Deku's youth, Mustard comments how he thought he would look tougher, also asking if Deku is around the same age as him. Ignoring everyone's reactions, Deku clicks his fingers, opening 4 more warp gates, with 3 near high-end no-Mews and 1 mid-tier no-Mew exiting. Seeing this, Mr. Compress says, "Scary, our chief ID really something, isn't he? He even has modified humans as his bodyguards." After explaining the plan, Deku questions if they are only going down with 11 members and 4 no-Mew, stating that it is a crazy plan, but Deku cuts him off, stating they are good to go judging by their abilities and plan compared to UA. Deku then declares that as a pawn he will work hard to pay for his trust. However, he is corrected by Deku explaining that like chess, a pawn can promote to any piece or even take out a queen or win the whole game. No piece is more important than the other. It is how you use them. Elaborating on what he means, Deku states that none of them are higher or lower than Nichita, They are all just broken people, repressed by society, and know too much about the pains of life. So together let's declare to the world of our arrival. As soon as the test of courage hit the 10-minute mark, the forest is lit in a blue flame, and covered by a purple poisonous gas. Due to Debbie and Mustard, separating and confusing the heroes. At the same time, before Ragdoll could inform everyone of the locations of the villains, Deku appeared behind her, covering her mouth. Stealing her quirk and activating chloroform to knock her out, tossing her through a portal. Elsewhere, Stain and Spinner deal with the rest of the pussycats, purging the fake heroes. Deep in the forest, Imiko Toga restrains and drains the blood of Eureka and Froppy, using the predicted location that Deku told her about to sneak attack them. Meanwhile, at Kota's secret base, Muscular charged towards Kota, preparing to kill him as Deku never gave him a plan, only telling him to watch his back. Just before the attack could hit, Deku warped in the way, tanking the attack with shock absorption. Confused as to why Deku stopped him, Muscular tried to attack again. However, Deku blocked it once again. Annoyed, Muscular expresses his displeasure towards Deku, informing him he never really liked him and was planning to kill him from the start. Hearing this challenge, Deku says he would like to see him try to kill him, constantly tanking all of Muscular's punches with shock absorption. Deku then explains that he hates people like him that only think with their fists, enlightening Muscular as to why he let him punch him so much. Explaining how he has a stockpiling quirk called Punching Bag which allows the user to absorb the force of an opponent's attacks, and allows said force to be built up and released all at once. Flicking Muscular in the head, sending him cratering in the cliffside. While Muscular loses consciousness, Deku walks towards him, stating that despite hating Muscular as a person, he loves his quirk, placing his hand on Muscular's chest, stealing it. Seeing as Deku easily beat Muscular, Kota says that Deku only did that to act like a hero, but Deku shakes his head, stating he is no hero, in fact he wants to destroy all heroes. Placing his hand on Kota's head, reading his mind, Deku says poor you, water hose was it, the news said they died as honorable heroes. When in fact they were just cowards who left their child alone defenseless without love. Deku then tells Kota to look down there, the world is rushing to praise the age of heroes, but they never care to think about the aftermath and those left behind. Like you, now do they? Villains who hurt and kill others for their own sick amusement, heroes who are praised for stopping them and risking their lives. However, if you remove the top layer and put them in a true life or death situation, you will see their real side, sick selfish cowards who only do what they want, never caring about the pain, suffering, and destruction they leave behind to others. You must be terribly sad. It's tragic, right? I can see how this society pushed you to the brink. That kind of distorted society, don't you find it detestable? Poor child hurt by deceitful people. How much have you been suffering? No one ever reached their hand to you. Am I right? You no longer have to feel this way, because I am here with you. Together we can destroy this society of hypocrites and build our utopia together. Accepting Deku's hand, now crying as Deku was the only person who has ever understood how he feels, Kota agrees to join the Deku and his cause, walking through the portal to Deku's lab, where Deku threw the unconscious body of Muscular in. Now 5 minutes into the attack, Mustard is attacked by 2 members of 1B, however they are easily dealt with as Deku had assigned the near high-end no-mu codenamed Lunar Eclipse, to defend him. Easily crushing Kendo's hands, and squeezing the air out of Tetsu after destroying his mask, knocking them out. Inside the main building, Kyoko simply sits and observes, while invisible as Aizawa destroys another Debi clone. Out of nowhere, the wall is destroyed by 3 no-mu, allowing Deku to enter. Seeing this, Aizawa uses erasure to erase their quirks, and subdues them using his scarf and Vlad King's blood manipulation quirk. Seeing this, Deku states he has a little respect for the underground hero, due to his affection for his students, so he will refrain from killing him, instead, breaking out of his restraints. Still quirkless, using his modifications only, walking towards Aizawa, jamming his fingers through the pro-hero's eye sockets, gauging out his eyes, stepping on them. After doing so, he steals Eraserhead's quirk, using it to erase Vlad King's quirk, punching him in the face, knocking him to the ground. Deku then starts laughing, explaining how, despite not seeing Hound Dog, Ectoplasm and Midnight for months, they didn't even say hello to them, pointing at the 2 of the no-mu behind him. He then explains how the presumed dead pro-heroes made for wonderful test subjects for his new Nanu development process. Explaining how usually high-ends are required to be made from villains as they retain some of their original personality, however by using a quirk known as lymphocytic parasite. 300 milliliters of his own blood is enough to bypass this manufacturing problem, allowing him to control them with his mind. He then orders the No-Mu to beat up their former students, walking away, dragging the body of Vlad King, teleporting it back to his lab to become a future No-Mu. Looking at his watch, Deku thinks that it is probably around time to wrap the show up, teleporting to the main event. Unsure whether Deku knows about his past or not, Dabi guides Todoroki and Bakugo towards an opening in the forest, where they see Deku and his 4 No-Mu, waiting for them. Deku congratulates Dabi on a job well done, however tells him it's time to end this. Seeing Deku, Bakugo is shocked as he believed Deku to be dead, asking him why he became a villain. I thought you always wanted to become a hero. Deku then states that he is a hero, just not same type as the one they used to dream about together, explaining how devils are not born, they are created from sins. Originally they were beautiful fallen angels, who have seen the deception and corruption in God's so-called perfect utopia, so decided to turn their backs on God. Getting their hollows and wings stripped from them, also they can fix God's mistakes and build an even better utopia. That's the type of person he is now. Not wanting to continue the conversation, Deku tells Bakugo, they will have a lot more time to catch up later, however for now it is time to rest. He then shoots a massive blast of water into the air, and uses Tempest to make it rain. Confused as to why he did that, Bakugo asks if he thinks they are scared of a little water, however he quickly shuts up as the poisonous gas in the air dissolves into the rain, creating concentrated rain of poison, strong enough to melt skin, knocking out the rest of the students who were remaining. Having had enough fun, Deku orders the rest of the villains to collect every member of 1B and Bakugo as they will be coming with them, as well as ordering them to make sure the emergency services have a beautiful sight when they arrive, warping away. Back at the bar, the League of Villains celebrate their victory over the heroes, while the heroes are being attacked by the media as 5 out of the 6 pro heroes were kidnapped, with the remaining 1 severely injured and quirkless. 38 out of 39 UA students were severely injured, with all of Class 1B being kidnapped, and 1 from 1AM also being kidnapped. Wanting to know what the world thinks about the heroes now, Deku turns on the news as he works on his new test subjects, turning them into high-end nomas. Listening to the news, it says following last month's attack on UA, Hoju incident and death of a UA student by the hands of the hero killer, the massacre at the Kiyashi Ward shopping mall, and the largest mass kidnapping case in recent history, of UA students nonetheless. People are starting to question what is this society saturated with heroes doing. And to make the situation worse, up until now, there is yet any answer from UA following the incidents. Pleased with what he heard, Deku turns off the TV, and walks towards the newly produced No-Mu, distributing quirks to them all, as well as injecting them with blood to influence their actions. Just as he was finishing off, taking his notes on the recent experiment, All for One announces that the heroes have located where Tamura is being held, and have begun their rescue mission. Also stating that All Might will definitely be there so he will greet him himself. Smiling, Deku closes his notebook, saying let the fun begin. Back at the bar, Kamiyori Woods and Deadshot restrain all the League of Villain Vanguard Action members, with All Might questioning where the 1B members and pros are being hidden. Reacting, Shigaraki shouts that he hates All Might. As he says that, a portal opens up behind him, with Deku exiting, echoing what Shigaraki had stated beforehand. Seeing this as the perfect opportunity to talk to Deku, Bakugo walks towards Deku, demanding to know if he is the real Deku, stating that it is impossible for him to be the real Deku as on the news it said he had suicided after his mother had died. He had even seen the body. Deku simply smiles, deciding to entertain Bakugo's curiosity, saying yeah I am the real me, however I guess technically you aren't wrong that I died, considering the body was 100% organic. And he felt all the pain of the fall. Before Deku could go into further detail, All Might charged towards Deku asking if this is really the right time for a chat young villain. Insulted by All Might's words, Deku outstretches his arms saying first I am useless and not hero material, and now I am a villain, who gave you the right to label me, clicking his fingers, saying he would gladly fight him to the death, however today is not the right time, warping Bakugo and the League to All for One's location. Seeing All Might's face contort in anger of his failure, Deku reminds All Might that he failed once again, telling him they can fight if he is willing to ditch the lives he intended to be saving. Just as Deku finished his sentence, he is blasted by a 1000°C concentrated beam of fire, from Endeavor who questions why All Might is just standing there, telling him that he will deal with everything here, allowing All Might to leave. Unscathed, Deku asks if that was the most pleasant greeting Endeavor could muster. Deku is then attacked by a combination of Mirako and Hawks, followed by an attack from Edge Shot and Best Jeanist, ending with a gravity-propelled smash from Ryuko. Standing up from the rubble, fixing his tie and brushing off dust, Deku greets the heroes, stating that he is honored to have all the top 10 pro heroes coming just to see him. If this was a year or two ago, he probably would be crying his eyes out. Mirako then says he is acting a bit too calm considering the numbers in this fight, asking Deku if he is ready to be ganged up on, clicking her knuckles. Agreeing, Deku states that the numbers are quite unfair for you, clicking his fingers once again, opening 25 portals, releasing his no Mew. The pros quickly realize that the no Mew are the kidnapped students and pros, asking what he did to them. Deku then explains that each no Mew was designed to counter one of the top 10s, asking them what they plan to do next, saying heroes have a lot to protect, so show me how much those words are worth. Show society your true selves. Ordering his no Mew to kill all the police officers and pros. The pros are quickly overwhelmed, as each no Mew was designed to beat the heroes Deku had predicted would be sent on the rescue mission. Such as Tetsu, codename Tungsten Blaze, having his original metal quirk, a water quirk, a vacuum quirk, thermal energy stockpiling quirk, pyrokinesis quirk, airwalk, and super strength. Speed and regeneration, made to counter Endeavor of course. Shishida codename Beast, having his original quirk, shock absorption, poison claws, and super strength, speed, agility, and regeneration, made to counter Mirako. Hyrule codename Dragon, with his usual scales quirk, Dragon Transformation quirk, Gigantification, Fire Breath, Glacier, Earth Flow, Poison Claw, Super Strength, Speed, Durability and Regeneration. Made to counter Ryuko and Hawks. Vlad King codename Life Force, with Blood Control, Energy Drain, Blood Curdle, Poison Blood, Claws, Super Speed, Strength, Durability and Regeneration, to counter Edge Shot and Best Jeanist. Monoma codename Phantom Thief, with Copy, Elastic Arms, Presence Erasure, Warping, Elemental Stockpiler, Super Strength, Speed, Durability, and Regeneration, to take care of any surprises. Setsuna Tokic codename Kamikaze, with Lizard Tail Splitter, Landmine, Self-Destruct, Double, Super Strength, Speed, Durability, and Regeneration, for crowd control. Kina Kokomori and Ibara Shozaki codenames, Shroom Queen, and Gaia, with their original quirks, Fire Resistance, Poison Gas, Earth Manipulation, Razor Leaves, Sapling, Cell Activation. And Super Strength, Speed, Durability and Regeneration, for support and defense. Shiai Kuroiro, codename Shadow, with Black, Light Absorption, Phantom Feet, Presence Erasure, a sentient quirk called Nightmare, Petrify, Super Strength, Speed, Durability, and Regeneration. Riko Yanagi codename, Tornado of Annihilation, with Poltergeist, Airwalk, Compress, Double Gravity, Attract, Reforge, Search, Super Strength, Speed, Durability, and Regeneration. 4 long-range attacks. And the rest of the kidnapped students /pros having a combination of super speed, strength, durability, and regeneration, as well as other quirks to mitigate their weaknesses. Because of this, the heroes are brutally beaten, with some of the lower-ranking ones having their quirks stolen then killed. Eventually Lemillion arrives, punching Deku in the face, but Deku simply grabs his arm, tossing him to the side. Activating Appraisal, to confirm his suspicions, revealing Lemillion is the 9th holder of One for All. While standing back up, Lemillion expresses his disbelief that Deku is a mere child, telling him his conspiracies are over. Standing over Lemillion, mocks Lemillion's choice of words, asking if he is a comic book hero or from some sort of cartoon. Deku then says, "Lemillion, what a fancy name, it sounds like you will be able to save a million." Mirio then interjects, shouting, "Say what you want, villain, but remember the only ones who can turn words into reality are," but he is cut off by Deku also screaming heroes. Then starting to laugh, asking him how he can spout such ideals while being so ignorant to the truth. Deku then charges up air cannon and spring-like limbs, while also activating memory projection, to show his memories of his past and origin. Screaming, "What you vow to protect is nothing but a disgusting corrupted society, all you ever do is attack people you label as villainous, do you ever throw the same punches at the government?" Conflicted and not answering, Lemillion just stands there unable to say a word. Deku then asks if by saving a million people, does that not include my mother? Then shouting with tears falling down his cheeks, does that not including Midoriya, answer me you fake heroes, firing his attack, blasting the room to dust, knocking Lemillion unconscious. Just as he finished dealing with all the heroes present, Deku gets informed by the doctor about All for One's defeat at the hands of All Might. In the remains of Kamino, All for One spits out blood, asking All Might how it feels to create two of the greatest villains, and to rub it in, they are your master's grandchildren. At last you cannot save them, symbol of peace. Just as All for One finished his sentence, Deku warped in using telekinesis to launch debris at the weak and defenseless All Might. Deku then asks All Might if killing his mother wasn't good enough, so he tried to kill his father as well. Deku then kneels next to his father, saying goodbye to him, explaining that for his plans to become reality, he needs the Demon King out the way reality. Deku then stood up and walked towards All Might, punching him in the chest, activating cell activation to heal the damage, then repeating, until All Might was unconscious. Explaining that he only came to display to the world the villain's overall victory, as all you did was trade the symbol of peace for a fossil, making room for the real true ruler, warping away. Okay guys, this is the end of the 6th part of What If Deku Had All for One and Was Betrayed. If you enjoyed this video, please consider dropping a like and subscribing, because why not? With that out the way, this is Demonic Saiyan saying bye.